We are sliding in this week.
Floating in like vampires.
Floating in like vampires in some sort of vampire space. Cheers. Welcome to the bar.
Cheers and welcome to the bar.
We are bringing our vampire energy to this week's shindig.
Apparently. I was totally feeling orange too. I don't know,
Nice.
it's like my heart is missing Halloween vibes right now.
Nice.
Like, what makes me happy?
Nice.
Halloween. What am I
Yeah.
gonna do? Orange and black makeup.
Honestly, there's something about going back to those things that make you happy. Whatever it is, if it's Halloween vibe, if it's a certain color, a certain thing, there's just something to go back to your like happy place, right?
Are you leaving the ambiance of the lights?
Where did I put the thingy? Sorry, I'm a little rusty. We're a few days behind on this one. Where did I put that thingy?
You just put it on.
It's in my pocket. I got it.
Oh. Yeah.
All right.
We're back!
And we're back. We're back.
Wow.
Well, you know.
We missed y'all last week.
Yeah, exactly. We were out of town a little bit for the weekend, so we're a little bit delayed. And it's been busy. We've been busy. Wow. But good busy. There's bad busy and then there's good busy. And I think we're in a good busy pocket right now. We're doing things, but it's not like we're overly busy with too much stuff. You know when you feel like you're riding a nice balance of you got enough things going on, but it's not too bad, but it's enough to keep you busy?
I get that.
I feel like I'm in a nice pocket right now with that.
I feel like I'm very mentally busy. I might not
Fair.
be like super physically busy.
Okay, but you're mentally
But I am
occupied.
mentally
You're like you
occupied.
got like a
Yeah.
mentally kind of busy vibe going
Yeah.
on. Fair.
This is awkward. So, again, I have issues, and I can't rotate my neck very far
Oh, is your neck stiff
right now.
You got a bit of a stiff.
So like this is it. So I have to like look kind of awkward. I have to like do this.
Fair. Did that affect your MRI that you went for?
This didn't happen until this morning. So
Oh,
I think I
okay.
just slept funny.
Oh, fair. Because you
My-
said that was pretty relaxing.
I found the MRI relaxing.
In case anybody out there maybe has to go for one,
Yeah.
you can give them your inside scoop from someone who's already got one done. In case someone out there is having to go for one of these. You said it's not too bad. It's not too
I
bad.
don't find it too
So
bad.
you don't need to freak out too much.
No, just close your eyes. Like that's what I do. And I'm not bad with small spaces. If you're bad with small spaces,
It could be a little bit weird, maybe?
it can be a little anxiety inducing.
Okay.
But I still say just close your eyes
All right.
and count as you breathe.
Fair.
That's what I do in those
So a couple
things.
Zen breaths, and
Just
then
keep going.
You'll get through your scan.
Yeah.
Your scan.
It takes a long time now. It took
Oh,
a
yeah?
solid like
You said
45
what,
minutes.
45 minutes for that thing to
In the
scan
machine,
you out?
yeah.
In the machine.
Yep.
With all its crazy technology-ness, getting to know your body inside and out.
I think for me the hardest thing is staying still.
Okay, yeah.
That's the struggle that I have.
Didn't you say your legs kind of had a bit of a twitchy thing going on or something?
Yeah, because I was like, I don't know. It's because I was relaxing so much that my
Okay.
body just kind of started twitching
Fair,
because it was
fair,
trying
yeah.
to calm down. I think
Mm.
because I've been going through a bit of a stressful time.
Yeah, okay.
And that
Working
was like-
some things out.
Yeah,
Working some things out.
Yeah, and that was like the first time in a while where I brought myself back down to earth a little bit.
Fair.
So like it was like my body was refiring.
That's cool. Well, you said they gave you headphones, but why didn't they have music in the headphones?
See,
what
this
was
is
the
what
deal
was
with that?
weird.
Could you have had music in
I
the
don't
headphones?
know. Maybe if I would have asked.
Because
But
you said they were like kind of like music headphones, right? Isn't that what you said?
I just said that they were
They were headphones. Okay.
And it was so I could hear the tech talking.
Oh.
Because the tech talks
okay.
to you
Oh,
when
and-
you're in the machine.
okay.
But he's not in the room with you.
Yeah, okay.
He's
yeah,
in
yeah,
like
yeah.
the little scan room.
Oh, okay. He's on the other side of the wall.
Yeah, so you just
He's
click
on the
the
other
button
side of the
when-
invisible wall, and he's talking to you through these
Yeah,
headphones.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stop moving as much. You're shaking in that machine too much, kind of basically.
Well, he didn't say that exactly. He
You're
just
twitching.
Told me to
Twitch less.
Still as possible.
It's like,
I'm sorry.
I know, right?
It's a voluntary twitch.
Our bodies are just these like half twitchy machines.
It's
like
weird. Well,
hard
it's
to,
your
like...
it's your mind firing, right?
Yeah, and especially if you're kind of starting to maybe get relaxed and fall asleep a little bit. Mm-hmm. That's where I find that, you know, we twitch a lot more from what I understand, and learning more about why people twitch.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing when your body starts to relax and then your muscles start to fire, and it's just those little twitches that happen when you're almost trying to fall asleep. It's kind of an interesting thing, and a lot of people twitch more than other people. I think it depends on your body type.
I think so too.
But twitching is weird because, yeah, you're trying to fall asleep and then you're twitching a little bit, maybe.
And you don't even realize it's going to happen?
Yeah, a lot of times.
The first time...
A lot of times you're like, wow, what's going on?
The
and then
first
you start
time my
twitching
leg
or some
twitched,
shit.
I was not expecting it because,
Yeah.
I don't know, I was decently comfortable, as much as you can be.
Yeah, fair.
And then all of a sudden my leg's like, boom, and I was like, oh no! And it kept being my left one. My left leg was the twitcher.
Shit, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Huh, fair.
So it was, I don't know, it was an interesting experience. I've gone through a few scans now.
Oh, okay.
I think, I don't know which one was, I think for me the MRI was probably the easiest one.
So MRI was pretty easy. That one you breezed through.
Yeah, that one I didn't find too bad.
Fair.
The CT scan I had was a long time ago, but I do remember not being super comfortable in that one.
Fair.
I don't remember why. I think it was just the position I was laying in was horrendous.
You have so much medical insight because of the things you've been surfaced through already, that you have a lot of good knowledge to pass on to people that maybe haven't gone through these types of things yet.
It's not as bad as you think.
And
it's exhausting.
You know, you should ask the tech to maybe play you some Rage Against the Machine when he's done talking to you, to just kind of get you like going inside the machine. You're just like, so you don't fall asleep. So you're just kind of awake. You know, Rage Against the Machine.
But see, if you have Rage Against the Machine going, you might start like headbanging, which...
Oh, and you can't move.
Yeah. But the weird thing...
Okay, fair. Maybe not Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
You got to find something in the pocket.
Mozart or something.
Then you'll fall asleep.
That's
so
true.
Then you'll start twitching. What do you do?
The weird thing was when I walked into the room where the machine is, there was like EBM music playing. That's what it sounded like. It was like very like, I don't know, electronic.
Electronic-y.
And I was like, oh, is this what I'm going to be listening to in my headphones? And then he gives you the little squishy earplugs.
Okay.
Because the machine's really loud.
Yeah.
So you put in the squishy earplugs.
Okay.
And then he gives you a little, like... You had to put on like a little hairnet.
Oh, that's kind of cute. So you got a hairnet. You got your hairnet on. All right.
Yeah, and then the headphones on top of that.
Oh.
So you have the ear squishies and the headphones on
That's
top.
a unique look right there.
With the blue hospital gown. Oh yeah, I was mad sexy.
That's a sexy look. I mean, I feel... But you did say that those hospital gowns were pretty sexy as far as hospital gowns go.
They were pretty good. I've worn a few.
But see, they're sexy in the fact that they're not very revealing, so they're almost like concealing type of sexy.
Like,
you can't even see your butt with them on.
No, because you know before, if you've ever been in a hospital gown, you know...
They're not the sexiest.
5 to 10 years ago.
They're not the sexiest things.
Not the sexiest.
Hospital gowns are not the sexiest.
You would only tie them in the back, right?
Uh-huh.
This one, wrapped.
Okay, so it's a full wraparound.
So it's a wraparound.
It's a full wraparound.
It has like one side that's longer, and you go whoop, and you wrap it around.
Oh shit! You cover that butt up, and
Cover
you're walking in there.
Yeah.
But you're still feeling kind of sexy because it's comfortable. It's a comfortable sexy.
Yeah. You know, it's kind of like you're wearing a muumuu.
I think, like, do you think that there's different levels of sexy? Like, there's comfortable sexy, and then there's revealing sexy? Like, do you feel like there's different levels of sexy?
Well, sexy is a confidence thing, I think.
Okay, fair.
Like, there's, like... Mm-hmm. I think that's the main thing with sexiness.
Sexiness and sexy is...
Like, you could put two people...
It's hard to define sexy.
Yeah, like, you could put two people in the same outfit, but one of them will be sexy and one of them will not.
Because maybe one will be more comfortable in that outfit than the other one. Is that what you think?
I think
That's
so.
what I think.
Or you know how you'll see some people that can wear the ugliest fucking things.
And look sexy. Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
Right?
It's very weird. I think that's why the term sexy, and especially if you're referring to hospital gowns, can be pretty open. Because sexy hospital gowns can really refer to a lot of different things.
It's true.
And it depends, maybe one person might wear the hospital gown a little bit lower, and, maybe it'll be sexier. Or maybe they pull it up more and they wrap it around and it's still, sexy. So it depends.
Well, you have to tie it around the back of your neck.
Oh, I know, but some people probably hack it and do it lower and they tie it up right here.
I don't think anyone tries to be sexy in a hospital gown.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that's like your main thought when you're wearing one of those.
Absolutely. If you're going in the hospital and you have to wear a hospital gown, you're probably like, how can I make this thing look the sexiest that I possibly can?
I was just stoked that there were pants.
I don't even know if I've ever worn a hospital gown.
You've never worn one of those hospital gowns?
I don't think I've ever had to.
Oh my god.
I don't think I've ever had to. I feel like I've never worn a hospital gown for anything. I spend as little amount of time in hospitals as I possibly can.
You're a lucky human.
I try my best to avoid hospitals, to stay healthy the most that I can, to not have to wear the sexy hospital gowns.
I tried that too. It didn't work.
Yeah, unfortunately you have worn a few hospital gowns.
I have.
But these ones you would consider to be the sexiest ones that you've worn.
Yes, absolutely. 100% sexy. And if you don't want, no pants, they had pants. Cute little, I don't know, they were hospital pants, but they looked like pajama pants.
Oh, okay.
And I was wondering, I'm like, do I wear the pants? Okay. Or do I just, not pant?
Fair.
So I chose to not pant.
Which would make you feel maybe sexier in a way. Because it's like, it's like risque.
You're like, ooh.
You're like, I don't have pants on underneath this gown. Because I think when you're at the hospital and it's something a little bit more blasé, I think you have to kind of spruce it up a bit with something to make you kind of want to be there. And if you can make the hospital gowns look even sexier and sexier and sexier, I think more people would feel almost like, I gotta go to the hospital to get something done. Oh, look at these sexy gowns that I get to wear.
I know, they really need to improve hospitals.
Yes. They can make them sexier. I'm just saying.
They could.
I'm just saying hospitals could work on their sexy levels.
Yeah, I agree.
I think hospital gowns could be, they can have more cooler designs on them. They can be a sexier, funner experience for people. And I think, hospital things, you got to get them done. Not very many people want to go there for different things, but you can kind of try and make it sexy.
You can.
It might not be fun, but it can try and be sexy.
It can.
If you can't be fun, at least you can be sexy. Hospitals. Those are future hospitals. And I strongly believe that future hospitals could be, way sexier.
I think so too.
Yeah, but I think with your experience and the new gowns, maybe people are trying to make them a bit sexier, but within the reasons of what their purpose is still being served.
There was a little sign that said that it was for patient comfort.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Comfort can be sexy.
Sure.
We don't want to take away comfort from sexy, because those two can definitely be together. Yeah. I find.
They can.
Comfort and sexy can live together.
Because there's a fine line between comfort and frump. Frump is not sexy.
Fair. Frump is not sexy?
No, frump is not sexy.
Frump is not sexy.
No, there's nothing sexy about frump.
Okay. Frump is not sexy. But poppin' is sexy.
Poppin' is sexy.
Poppin' is sexy, and if something is poppin', then it's definitely sexy.
Not always.
Not always, but most of the time.
Sure.
But most of the time. Let's go with that.
Sure.
Let's go with that. If something is poppin' most of the time, it'll be sexy.
Okay.
I don't know. That's just what I'm going with anyway.
Why not?
I'm going to stick with that.
Sure.
I'm going to stick with that.
Okay.
So my final question to you, because I still want to keep going on the hospital gowns,
Go for it.
How do you
We're discussing at the bar.
How do you think that they could make them even sexier from the sexy one that you wore? What's the next step? Is it the color?
Yeah.
The color? Was it still that pale blue?
Yeah.
That pale blue is not the sexiest.
Why do they make it that pale blue?
I don't know why for the past zillion years they've been pale blue, but I feel like they can maybe try and reach just a little and get out of the pale blue.
I think so.
And maybe do some flower pattern. Maybe do some hearts. What about hearts? Heart gowns.
No, cute animals.
Cute animals
Fucking
on
sloths.
Cute animals on hospital gowns.
Put them sloths on there.
Cute sloths on hospitalgowns.com. Make these things cuter.
Yeah.
Make them sexier. Make them funner for people that have to experience the hospital in a way to get something done.
Yeah.
The cuter and the sexier, the better. And we have the technology.
Not just for kids. See,
the technology
I
is
don't
here.
know if kids get cute things.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure.
But I think we need to bring the cute and fun into the adult world.
Oh, a lot of times we miss it.
We do.
We miss the point. We unsexify things and uncutify things that could be sexified and cutified.
I know.
I don't know why. Maybe we're just happy with the light blue always saving the
I'm not.
land. Yeah.
That's gross. Tie-dye.
Like, I've never seen like the cool scrubs either for like, you know, I've seen some that are maybe better, but like I think you could do a lot with those too.
They've
to make them
come a long
super
way.
cooler.
See,
super cooler too in that experience.
I've seen a lot of scrubs in my time because a good friend of mine.
Well, I've seen
no
no scrubs, so whoa. I don't want no scrubs.
But like
I had to get that as a
that's
song
fine.
reference.
But like now they have like all kinds of patterns.
I had to do it.
Yeah, you said that 6 times.
I had to do it.
So they have all kinds of patterns. They have like different shaped pants now. Like for a while, scrub pants used to just be like straight leg pants, but now there's like flares and shit.
Okay.
They have like tops that have the back pinched in.
So
like,
the scrubs have come a long way then.
They have.
Okay.
But from what I've heard from nurses is that there's a fine line between cute and not functional.
Okay.
Because it needs to ride both of those.
Fair, yeah. And if you have not functional, then that's definitely not what you're going for. It's definitely not what you're going for.
Nope.
Huh. Well, maybe that one could be a little bit of a trickier one, but for the gowns and stuff, that one seems pretty easy. Just cute sloths.
Sloths.
Just sloths.
That's it.
Just call it the sloth section, and it's all sloths
You ever
all the
meet someone
time.
who doesn't think a sloth is cute?
Sloth? Yeah. I saw this video of a guy that was transporting a sloth, and he had it on a boat, and he was flying down the lake, and the sloth was just there, like. And then there was a joke on the video or something. It was like, I just saved this sloth like a year of travel or something like that. And he was just taking him across to another island or something. I don't know. But it was just this sloth going on a boat, and the sloth is just there, and the wind is blowing in its face, and he's just like, ah.
That's awesome.
It was pretty funny, yeah.
That's
I loved
great.
that video so hard. I was like, sloth! Sloth!
Sloths are awesome.
I love sloths. Honestly, sloths are great.
How they're just so slow that they grow their own ecosystem on their bodies.
Yeah. Literally, I
like
remember
moss grows on them.
I remember when you explained to me, like, yeah, the things that happen on sloths and how, like you say, they grow their own ecosystems, basically, because they're just such a slow being, and they're just like,
and like they basically only come down from the trees to like take a poop.
Pretty much,
is
yeah.
Not very often.
No, they don't like to come down from those trees. They're just up there.
Well, no, they're
hanging.
Totally vulnerable.
Just hanging up there.
A sloth cannot run away from anything.
Yeah, that's true.
If something goes to eat a sloth, the sloth is screwed.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I saw these pictures today of a baby bat, and it was so cute. I couldn't even handle it. If you go to the Toronto Zoo Instagram page, there's pictures of this baby bat, and my heart melted. He had a little soother in a picture. He was like hugging someone's thumb because he was like literally this big. He was freaking cute and big bulgy eyes and his little cute face. Yeah.
What does a bat do with a soother?
It sucks on it. It's a mammal, right? So it needs like, it'd be like not giving a human baby something to suck on. It would cry. It needs the nipple.
So literally, you can, I didn't know this, you can give a bat a soother and it'll just hold it and
In its
it'll
little mouth, yeah.
eat it.
It'll just suck on it. It was a little yellow soother. It was adorable as fuck.
So I'm picturing it hanging upside down with the soother in its mouth. Am I wrong or am I right?
No, it's like someone holding it in their hand with a little blankie and a soother.
Oh, it's got a blanket.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like a little fleece blankie.
Oh.
I'm telling you, this thing is the cutest thing
So
I've
it's
ever
a
seen.
bat in a blankie with a soother.
Yes.
That sounds pretty 2023.
adorable.
That sums up the year 2023 so far in a
far.
nutshell. A bat and a blankie holding a soother has captured the hearts of humanity as one. As we progress forward in social experiments, we give bat more soothers and comfort them with blankets.
Absolutely.
Why not? I love it. That's great.
That's wonderful.
That's pretty awesome.
Anything that makes you happy.
Nothing
right?
like a comforting bat and a blankie holding a soother to get you through the day.
Yup. That's one of the first things I saw this morning. I'm like, hey, sweet. And then I had a really good day today.
I feel like, yeah, and I feel like there's honestly some days for some parts of the day where you actually just feel like you are a bat holding a soother wrapped in a blankie.
Absolutely. I think I was like that for an entire month.
Yep. And especially if you came back from some sort of medical procedure, I think your next step is to become the bat in the blankie holding the soother for as much time as you need, really. Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes sense.
People don't give themselves enough time to decompress after medical procedures.
Yeah.
Of any sort.
And not even medical procedures. I think a lot of times we rush like recovery from things.
Absolutely.
Not just medical procedures. I think the human brain and the human spirit needs a lot of time to recover from things that happen, from overaction, maybe overstimulation. We don't give ourselves enough time to recover and relax, I find. And that can really mess us up with just trying to do other things. And if you don't give yourself enough time to relax, that's when you can get injured even more, or you can do something dumb or whatever, because you just didn't relax enough. You didn't give yourself enough time to recover. Yeah. You're too, hyped up about something that was going on, like an action, like, or maybe you even just fell in the snow or something. You're just trying to walk. Not that that ever happened to me. No.
Me neither.
I haven't fallen on ice many times.
Never done that. Never face planted right into a pile of snow. Nope. Oh, that was the worst.
The worst is falling in snow, like when you don't expect to fall.
Yeah.
You're just kind of trotting along, and the next thing you know, poof, you're just
the worst
down.
Was this one time when I was walking into work, and I was walking over top of this big snowbank.
Yeah.
And, like, at first, you test the snowbank.
You're just like, can I put my foot in?
For those who have no snow, you kind of test it and see if it's hard.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, okay. You put a little weight on it. Okay, I should be able to walk on the snowbank.
This one should be okay.
Yeah. I start walking on the snowbank, and then the one foot goes, pfft, and then this foot couldn't handle it, and then I just face planted.
And then you just went, poof, right into it.
Yep. Snow in the boot. In the pants, down the mitts. It was a hot mess.
Isn't that how you chipped your tooth? You fell once. Was that in the winter?
No.
That wasn't in the winter? Was that after a bar night?
No.
Okay, that wasn't after a bar night.
Sad thing. Work is bad for you. So, I, again, was going to work.
Yeah.
And I was late.
Oh, and you were rushing.
And I was rushing.
Oh, no.
And I tripped over the sidewalk, completely sober.
Oh.
And the sidewalk had like a little lip on it. And Kirby.
The lip got your tooth and then kapoosh and you chipped it. Ouch, man.
It fucking hurt.
That sucks.
It hurts so much. Like, curbing yourself is not a fun experience. And you know what was sad? Is some dude literally walked around me as I'm, like, bleeding from my face.
And just lying on the ground?
And lying on the ground. Like,
didn't even ask you if you were okay or nothing. Just kept going.
Fucking ass.
Just kept going on his merry way. Wonder if he saw you fall or not.
Oh, 100% he saw me fall.
Yeah, he was that. Oh, and then he's just like, I keep trotting along.
Yeah, I'm a dick.
Oh man, that guy was in his own little bubble that day. That's for sure. Didn't even ask if you were all right after a traumatic fall.
Maybe he thought I was some sort of crack whore or something.
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Although I was wearing nice enough clothing.
Yeah. If I saw someone fall to a point where they smashed their face and they were lying there, I'd probably be like, are you all right? It seems like a pretty small thing to do. Just ask them if they're okay. Hey, are you all right? You just kind of smashed your face into the ground. But the dude just keeps walking. You never know what you're going to get sometimes. Don't we all just have to look out for ourselves out here? To an extent, I suppose.
Life is hard.
Life is hard. To say it's a journey full of twists and turns is the least. I think that's the way I always look at it. Is like there's so much unexpected things that happen. It's just full of twists and turns. The good, the bad, the ugly. You just got to try to embrace it all, to be honest with you. The good's going to happen, the bad's going to happen, and the unexpected is always happening. So it's kind of like, you just kind of got to roll with whatever. With whatever happens, you know? Yep. And if you bash your face in, you get up and you say, damn. But you keep on trucking.
And then you call your boss and you say, hey, I was rushing because I was late. Now I'm really not coming in. I'm going to the hospital.
Yeah, now I got to take a detour to get my face looked at because I smashed it into the ground. So sorry about that one. That's my bad.
Missing half of a front tooth.
I'm going to be a little bit not working out for anyone today.
Sorry.
Because I smashed my face in and this kind of hurts. So.
Just a bit.
Oh.
Just a bit.
Yeah, no, I've fallen in the snow many times, gotten injured many times, not reported it to anybody but myself many times, and I'm just like, I'm an idiot, and I'm just going to move on with my day with broken whatevers and sore hips and all kinds of wackiness. But I think you live and you learn to do and not do many things before you just end up falling again, even based on the fact that you tried to do your best.
I love watching little kids faceplant, though.
Oh, remember the kid in the mall?
Yeah.
That just went...
Like, little kids, when they faceplant...
It didn't even phase them.
No, and
he
adults,
just popped right back up.
Adults are the ones... I see this... I mean, I used to see it a lot.
Popped right back up and kept on going. Like, there was nothing
kids
to it.
will full-on faceplant, and then the adults will be like, "Oh, are you okay?" And like the kid won't notice. Like the kid doesn't give a shit because it's so close to the ground, it doesn't matter.
We were literally just sitting there on that bench, and then the kid's running by, and then whoop, boom, he face plants right onto the ground. We're just like, oh!
There's that
pops
age,
right back up.
Right?
Pops right back up.
There's
like
that age where they're like really, really little, and then they face plant, they don't care, and then they get like a couple of years older. And then they face plant, and the parents still do, or the adults still do the same thing. Oh my God, are you okay? But then
fair.
The kid gets triggered into thinking that they're hurt, and then they start crying, even though they're fine.
Yeah,
it's just because the adults are asking if they're okay. They think something's wrong.
True, and then the kid kind of gets like, "Oh, am I okay?" Like,
yeah.
Instead of just popping back up, right?
Yeah.
Watch your neck.
I know.
Don't twist too fast.
I got excited.
Don't twist too fast.
I did a chicken.
You did a chicken?
I did a chicken move. My neck hurt.
Fair. You did a chicken move with your neck.
Yeah. I'm not going to do it because it hurt, so I can't. You
cool.
know, the chicken move with your neck.
Oh, yeah, that's true. When the chickens just bob along.
Yeah, and they do this.
They ram along. Chicken do the chicken dance.
Sing my song. Arguably one of the greatest Led Zeppelin songs. Don't care.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time listening to vinyls this weekend, and there's nothing like throwing on a good vinyl through some good speakers to lead up to a good time. What did we say? 1981 was the craziest era for music. What was that hit kind of list? Remember that vinyl I showed you with all the hit songs that he had?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and it was like 1981 was like most of the songs on this vinyl, and we were just like, what? Like, that was when 8675309 came out, and I'm, like, pretty sure it was 1981. But then there was a ton of other songs from 81 that were all hits, too, and I was just like...
I feel like there was a big jump in, like, the evolution of music.
Like, 81, man. 81 has so many songs. I was just looking at them, I was like,
with the
what a year. What a year.
Of, like, synths and stuff.
That really,
in the 80s?
That really brought out a lot of new creativity in musicians of that time, for sure. Then when the synths just started coming out, early 80s, well, they were out before that. But I think coming more into
they were
light.
Popular.
Yeah, coming more into light into music with the synths and stuff like that.
Like when you think of like, when you think of the 70s, you don't think of synth.
Not really.
No,
not yet.
No.
Not yet.
It wasn't until the 80s that started being in like every song.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then I think like they were trying to figure out different ways to use it. And then it became like one of those, it's like when a sound is overused, then it kind of flattens out for a while because everybody's on it. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, that sound's used up. And then it kind of goes away for a little while, rides on the shelf, comes back maybe, but the songs that were made during that time with whatever was popular are still always rocking. Yeah. And like 40 years later when you pop them on, you're just like, this song still rips. And that's why I think I love those timeless classics like that. There's a lot of them.
So sidetrack. I was listening to this video because I wasn't really watching it. I was just listening to it.
Cool.
About this girl who was explaining dissociative identity disorder.
The hell is that?
So it is basically...
Is this a new one? Or is this
no,
one been
not
around
really.
for a while?
So it's basically the newer term for multiple personality disorder.
Okay.
So it's when someone has different people inside of their head, different personalities inside of their head, and they switch between those people.
Okay.
And so she was kind of talking about getting diagnosed with that and her therapy and learning about the different identities and like comparing it to what she used to think before discovering this and like learning how to recognize when she's switching personalities or when they're switching personalities.
Did you say you just like learned about this?
I've heard of it.
Okay.
And like I've heard of multiple personality disorder.
Well, yeah,
I knew about that.
I knew that existed. Yeah, I knew that one existed.
Yeah. So,
but this is a new level of that, is what you're trying to bring to light here.
It's a more refined version. Of it.
So, are they studying this more? Is that what you were going for here? Or?
I don't know. I was just learning about it because it's something like I never fully understood, and I'm trying to wrap my brain around it for some reason. I just I stumbled upon this video, and I was like, oh, interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I've always had this weird fascination with psychiatric disorders, probably because my brain is a little messed up myself.
I think as artists, we suffer from artist brain, which is its own thing. I don't think it's a disease. I'm pretty sure it's just artist brain.
Depends on who you talk to.
And artist brain is definitely a little wacky. And if you're an artist, you don't need any explanation to find yourself sometimes stuck in artist brain. And it definitely takes an artist brain to recognize another artist brain. And I think... we probably could diagnose artist brain as some sort of disorder, but I think at the end of the day, it's just artist brain.
I think so.
And it can be pretty scrambly sometimes.
Yeah.
But artist brain does what it does.
Yeah.
It's not really a disorder. It's more of a functioning way of just being you.
But it was really interesting because she was talking about like her experience before going into therapy and getting diagnosed.
Fair.
And how she would have these like almost like memory lapses.
Oh, weird. Okay.
And like she would like lose time and like lose days because she would be switching personalities.
That's interesting.
And then like her friends and stuff would be like, "Oh, you were acting really weird yesterday."
Okay.
But she wouldn't remember like say going to lunch with her friend.
Oh, that's definitely like that's
apparently
strange.
this stems from trauma, right? Because what happens is like let's say you're a kid and you're going through something really traumatic. What you might end up doing as a kid is developing a different personality for yourself to help you deal with whatever it is that you're going through. Okay. And then that over time just keeps growing and growing and growing.
Okay.
So she has...
And then once you become an adult, you're kind of living with this thing that you developed as a kid almost. Or something.
But you don't realize it because you like your main personality doesn't know about the other personalities. Okay. Sometimes like this personality might know about this personality. Okay. But this personality might not know about this personality.
So you're trying to say that this is something that people can function with? Or is it you need to be in some sort of institution?
No,
is there higher levels? Or how does it
People can function with it.
That would pretty much affect your daily life, though, wouldn't it? But you can still function if you're aware of that?
Yeah, from what
I just have a hard time wrapping my head around that.
From what I understood from listening to her
Not
today,
very well knowledged in that.
Well, I'm still learning.
Yeah.
But like she said, now she can recognize when certain personalities are starting to creep up.
Okay.
If she's in like a stressful situation, for example, like she has one of her personalities who's a male and he's a lot more aggressive.
Okay.
Than say her main personality, which is very bubbly and like colorful and stuff.
Whoa.
So they're very opposite. So she is starting to recognize when he starts coming out.
Okay. All right. Fair.
Yeah.
So I guess she's working with some help to try to explain to her how to recognize these different sides of her.
Yeah, and what the ultimate goal with
that type of diagnosis, right?
Yeah.
It would be a diagnosis.
Yeah, it's a diagnosis.
Okay.
And the ultimate goal with that is to get the person, like the body, the person,
the human
body, to recognize all the different personalities and eventually combine them all together. So then you stop having those time lapses and losing those days because you don't like check out into a different person. You just have like a little voice in your head almost.
Huh.
Did I mind fuck you right now?
Yeah, it's a little bit hard to wrap my head around that.
It's a complicated thing, yes. Huh. But it's intriguing. I find it very interesting.
Yeah, that's neat.
And it's not like...
Okay.
You know when you used to hear about multiple personality disorder and like you think that the person like switches like a light switch?
See,
it's not like that.
I always have like the extremes in my head where if you get diagnosed with something like that, like it's very hard for you to function because I don't understand it well enough. So
well, it is hard for you to function, and that's where she was at. Where like she was in college,
okay,
and she was taking a fashion program, and she would like get contacted by a teacher or something, and like, oh, you haven't showed up to my class in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't know that because it was actually one of her other personalities that was...
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's like, it's hard for me to understand, but at the same time, like that's interesting to know that's out there and somebody's trying their best to learn about themselves in that way.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's like a different one though.
Yeah.
And I guess, is that something that can come on at any age, or is that something that's kind of brought on gradually through, like...
That's a good question.
Being younger? Yeah, I don't know.
I idea. Don't know either. From what I know, I would think that it's more likely that that's something that you develop in childhood and then grow with. Fair. Because I think it's probably part of your brain development.
Okay.
That's just a guess. I'm guessing.
Yeah, and see...
And I'm not a doctor.
This is where I find myself personally curious about all topics. Like, I'm so curious about all kinds of topics. I know that I barely can scratch the surface on a lot of things. And stuff like this, to me, is where I'm scratching the surface level. Like, I don't know enough, but I'm so curious to learn more. You know what I mean? It's like I can't say anything from a perspective to even come close to trying to understand what someone else is going through to discover themselves through that diagnosis, because I'm just so like intrigued by learning more myself, because like I just don't know enough about that.
I'm gonna have to re-look.
I'm just not well educated in that field.
And that's fine.
Yeah, you can't be educated in every field.
I'm going to have to re-look this up, but I do remember reading about a case a long time ago of this woman who had, at the time, it was multiple personality disorder. I think she had like 20 some odd different personalities or something. Yeah. And there's like video recordings of her in her therapy sessions, and like her voice and shit would change.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it is. It's very interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm never doing an accent ever again, or I'm never doing an impersonation of anything ever again. I'm not going to do it. I swear. I'm not going to do it. No.
So there's the heavy topic of conversation at the bottom.
Wow, that was cool. Yeah.
I don't know, like what reminded
I think we were talking about music, and then all of a sudden we were talking about synthesizers, and then we jumped to that. So that was interesting.
I guess because a synthesizer mimics different things, right? So I think that's like sprung that memory back.
We literally went from talking about synthesizers 1 second into this deep rolling topic about personality disorder. That's what you get here. Welcome. You never know where we're going to go. You never know where we're going to go. That's cool, though.
Yeah.
That's really neat. Yeah, a synthesizer can change its tone, and I think maybe that's how you found the connection there.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to stick with that. I think it was because of the synthesizer that's going, and it's changing all around.
Yep.
So maybe people with that diagnosis would be good at playing synthesizers. I don't know. Maybe they should try it.
Maybe one of the personalities would be. And that's the thing with that, too, is different personalities can have different, like, things that they're good at.
Cool.
Yeah. Maybe
I could try and segue multiple personalities into my album of the week.
Ooh, that's a toughie.
Probably not. I can just probably segue into multiple people making the album of the week.
Woohoo!
Yes, okay, I'll bring that out. And we will talk about this album that I just picked up by Gord Sinclair, Taxi Dancers.
Is that what you were playing when I was
Yeah, that's what I was playing.
It's okay.
This album right here.
It's okay.
Yeah,
I think a lot of people would like it.
It's Gord Sinclair. If you're not familiar with Gord, he is exactly Taxi Dancers is a rockin' album. And if you don't know Gord Sinclair, he played with the Tragically Hip, and they have a ton of good songs. The Tragically Hip. I know you're into heavier music, so where were you on the Honest Levels with your Tragically Hip vibe?
Okay.
Because you're more into, or you're into the heavier, harder hitting music for the most part.
For the most part. If I'm gonna choose,
so where were you on the Tragically Hip soundscape?
I'm not well versed in the Tragically Hip.
Fair.
I've heard a lot of their music. They have good songs. They're amazing musicians. Fantastic songwriting.
Yeah.
I enjoy it if it's on background kind of noise.
Just rocking if it's playing.
But it's not something I'm gonna go be like, I'm gonna listen to the Tragically Hip.
They rocked, the soundscape of a generation, and definitely had a lot of smash hits that were just resonated with so many people. And I find like it always depends on the style of music that you like. If you're into more heavier, harder hitting music, then the softer stuff is kind of like.
See, I
can bounce back and forth with my music. Like
I can too.
I know.
I think today I wouldn't say that what I was listening to was heavy.
Yeah, and exactly. And I think like in a way, as you've matured, your taste in music has evolved and changed a lot too.
Yeah.
You 10 years ago probably couldn't even listen to something
like that. No, I'd probably burn it.
Exactly. So you now more matured can be like, yeah, okay, it's chill. And I've seen that in you and your style of maturing with music.
Maturing.
I think I've matured you into a softer listener. Because I was never the most hardcore music listening kind of guy. I mean, I listen to anything.
I know.
But at the same time, man, like I'm more of like a pop rock, alt rock, fluffy rock, jam rock, musicians music type of guy. Like I'm not beating on drums to like make them bleed. Like, you know what I mean? That's why I really dig this album. And yeah, if you don't know who Gord Sinclair is, he's from Tragically Hip, and this is his solo album. And I just picked this one up. My favorite song on this album is Up and Over. So I like Up and Over as my favorite track on this Gord Sinclair album. And they recorded this in Gord's house, apparently, from what I understand. So they brought a bunch of people into Gord's place, set up some mics, created a cool atmosphere, and threw down some cool songs for his solo project with friends of his that were musicians and just people that he got along with, which is ultimately mostly what you want to do when you're making music.
Usually, yeah.
You usually want to try to make music with people you get along with.
Trying to make music with people that you don't really get along with sucks.
It's basically a horrible time,
it's very hard.
And the music is going to turn out like shit.
Not necessarily.
Oh, that's true.
Not necessarily.
You might not get along with someone the best, because musicians sometimes can be hard to get along with, especially when we're making music.
Yeah.
I think musicians can can be friends outside of the studio, and then you put some musicians inside the studio, and the creative differences can be so different that it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work, and it's so weird though, right?
It is weird.
Like the musicianship, you can't understand why two people can be good friends, but they just can't make music together. Or two people might not be the best of friends, but they make the coolest music together. Yeah. I don't understand how that happens in the world of musicians.
I know, it's weird.
In the world of musicianship. Mm-hmm. But to me, this album was friends getting together, and it was recorded in his house, and I really enjoy this album. I think it's a lot of cool tunes. It's great. The one thing that I have with a ton of albums, and this one I think I can put into it a little bit, is the vocals. I don't know. Mixing vocals is so tricky, but I always find, and there's so many albums out there for me personally, I find you could just knock the vocals up just a little bit. Just put the vocals up a touch. Because I find a lot of times, even when I'm mixing vocals, and this is a personal preference for me, is that when I'm mixing vocals, I try to put them a little louder, and I know a lot of times the way I put in a vocal, someone might say, hey, that vocal's a little too loud. But I like when the vocals are jumping at you, they're coming out, the vocals are popping out a bit more. Yeah, and I find there's a lot of albums that this one and a few other ones, I just kind of wish the vocals were up a touch. But it's my love for the vocal punch-out, I think. And that is completely a personal preference, for sure.
Yeah, for me, sure. I don't think it comes down to the loudness of the vocal, but I think it comes down to the cleanness of the vocal. Okay. I like very clean vocals. I don't like vocals with a lot of effects on them. It drives me batty.
Yeah. Like, focusing on this album, I think the instruments are literally, they're mastered and mixed perfectly. I think they're mastered and mixed perfectly. The way the vocals come in is great. I love the lyrics. I love the vocals. And I gotta put this one in with a few other albums. Actually, like, I find a lot of albums are mixed with lower vocals than my personal preferences. And I just want those vocals to go up a touch. And I know it's so hard to get them in just right. And because like I said, I've mixed vocals. I know how to mix vocals. And a lot of people would probably tell me, like, those vocals are too loud. But that is completely a personal preference. And I love when a vocal track just punches through a song. And it just comes through and it's just like, bah. I'm not searching for what the person's saying. It's just coming in 100%. I can hear all the words. And there's not like a drum hit that just kind of muffles a word in a way that I'm like, oh, what did he say there? Like, what was that? Like, one. And there's a lot of albums. And I know, yeah, vocals are tricky to mix. But there's a lot of albums that I've had and I've listened to over time where I'm like, oh, I felt if that vocal track was just up a little bit. And I think, yeah, it comes down to that's what I like. And I've heard a lot of albums where they have put the vocals up more. I'm like, and especially with some of the heavier music, I find, I don't know why a lot of the heavier music, they can throw the vocals in there and put them higher.
Because they don't put as much distortion on the vocal.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
Because the instruments have a lot of distortion or effects on them.
Okay.
And the vocal's just very sharp and clean.
Yeah, and I find like there's a lot of heavier albums that for some reason they can just punch that vocal through. And I think it's because they're putting the volume level up a little bit higher. And I just like, I love to hear that vocal coming through. It's a personal preference. And I've seen it on many albums where I just wished it was knocked up a couple dBs on dB scale. Just a couple. You don't even have to change the effects. You don't have to change anything on the vocal track. Just knock the dBs on that vocal hit up a couple levels. But it's so, and that's why I love music, because it's such a personal preference. And I find it such a personal touch. And this one was mixed in their house, and there was, who was it from the Trews? John Angus MacDonald of the Trews. The Trews, so he helped out on this album. And yeah, he's from the Trews. I love the Trews.
I know you do.
I've been listening to Trews for so long. So when I found out that he was helping out on this album, I was like, that's sick, because I love the Trews. I'm a huge Trews fan. I've been listening to Trews for a long time. And then there was also James McKenty of the Spades who was doing the mixing and recording. Yeah, the Spades. I've heard a few of their songs. I'm not as well versed in the Spades, but I do have a few of their songs in my mind.
Okay.
And yeah, so he did some of the mixing and recording, and such a great job. overall, the feel of this album is fun. You could tell they were just having a good time in his place, making some songs. I love the way the songs are put together. And yeah, my favorite song is Up and Over. Yeah, Up and Over. That's my personal favorite on the entire album. And yeah, just a preference in the vocals. And I have that with this album and many other ones where I'm like, I wish the vocals were just a little. But I think I'm vocally like deaf, or maybe I'm too tuned into the instruments or something. I don't know what it is about my ears.
That's a musician thing.
I don't know what it is about my ears, but the instruments hit me so hard. They just hit me so hard, and I'm just like, and they're so good, and I'm just like, whoa.
I did a little psych study on that, and that's a musician thing. Musicians tend to be more attuned to the instruments in songs.
Maybe that's why. And as a drummer, I'm picking up the drums like non-stop. Just.
Well, it's like me, how I'll pick a bass line out of like this quietest little thing that someone might hear but not recognize.
So maybe to me, as a musician drummer, I'm always wanting those vocals to be louder because I'm hearing the instrument so much. But maybe to somebody else who isn't as musically mindseted, they're probably like, oh, those vocals are perfect or something, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to get the different perspectives. It's interesting to get the different perspectives. And a quick shout out to the drummer, Jeff, I hope I say this right, Halischuk, and also Elliot Sinclair, who's Gord's kid, who's playing bass on the album.
I know that name too.
Yeah, so they were all on this album. Yeah, and it's great. I love it. It's a fun album. I also love the album artwork of Taxi Dancers. Gonna give that a shout out. You know, they say that the album artwork is...
I had to do it again.
Nice. That was awesome. They say that the album artwork is equally as important as the album itself. And as a musician, someone who's made many album covers and will continue to make some myself, I completely agree. When you have a super cool album cover, it really helps the album feel alive. And like you actually cared about the music that you were making because you designed... and you made the album cover, and they say don't judge your book by its cover, but so many people were so visual that whatever we see first, we're so visually in tune to like lean into things that appeal to us visually.
Like as an artist, that's the first thing I'm gonna see. Mm-hmm. Always, that's the first thing I'm gonna notice, and something that's gonna draw me in to keep looking at it.
It's so true. It's so true. And yeah, the way that
I like that with everything.
The way that this album, the back is super cool. There's a little chessboard there, checkers, whatever you want it to be. And the front, just a lot of symbolism there. But it's cool, man, and it's a cool vibe. And I do love. Do you like the plastic CD covers more? Are you a fan of the cardboard kind of? What's your favorite? Like when you're searching for something.
I prefer the plastic ones because I find the cardboard ones really degrade over time.
Okay, fair.
They can yellow, they can rip and tear, and if you spill shit on them, they get all warped. Whereas with the plastic ones, your artwork of your sleeve is protected.
Okay, fair. Do you think maybe because the world that we're trying to create, we're trying to live in, is trying to get away from plastics a little bit? Do you think maybe that's why people are having more popularity towards kind of more cardboard layouts? I think so. Because the world in general is trying to be more environmentally friendly?
I think A, that's one of it. B, it's probably also cheaper to produce.
Yeah, and I think that we could probably go back and forth on that in a millennia amount of times. But I agree that I think you could do a lot of cool things with the cardboard, and I think that it is cool. But I also do enjoy the way that, like you say, the plastic CD covers kind of hold up a bit more, and they don't break or get as kind of weird over time.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy the simplicity of the. I don't know if you could say this is new school CD packaging or they've been doing this for a while.
Like that.
Yeah, but I think it's kind of changed and shifted. But I think the simplicity of it and the way that it just kind of it just is what it is. And then you got the cool CD right inside that pops out. And yeah, man, it's super cool. Look at that. It's got the cover right on it.
There you go.
Like that.
Cool.
And as much as streaming is great, and I think ultimately if you stream something and you like it enough. go ahead and buy the digital version, because if you don't want to buy the CD and you don't want to buy a physical copy, then just buy the digital one.
Sure.
And you can have it on your phone, you can have it wherever, and it's just as great. Yeah. It's digital. We live in a digital world. Digital's amazing for convenience.
In a digital world.
Exactly.
And I am a digital girl. Know that we are living in a digital world.
This is usually what I do to her when I'm trying to say, when she's trying to say something that's like kind of like you know, just trying to make a point about something. I usually just go up to her and I'm just like,
it's kind of annoying, isn't it?
It is. I get it now. Okay, I get it. Okay.
Okay.
But I think digital is such a convenient thing, and I love that we've created the digital world, and I'm a fan of it. I love streaming. I think streaming is so convenient, but I definitely encourage people to, when you find something that you like on streaming, go out and pick up the digital version of it. If you don't want to buy a CD or a vinyl, usually the digitals are like $5. You can buy it for like $5.
Yeah.
Pick up the digital version of something that you found streaming. It really helps out musicians, artists, and everybody involved.
Yeah, like whether it's a musician or like a filmmaker.
Literally, anything.
And like oftentimes now, because we live in that digital world, you will get some sort of code or something to have access to a digital copy.
How many times if you buy a Blu-ray, you'll get a digital copy code or something, right? And that's kind of the thing, is like, you know, the digital landscape and soundscape has changed the format and the way it all works, and they don't even really put CD players in some of the new vehicles anymore. They just kind of all digital. But luckily, you can always convert it to digital. You can convert all your CDs to digital. It's super easy. It takes 2 seconds.
Yep.
So for convenience, spot on. But definitely, you know, I encourage people, when you find something that you like and enjoy, pick it up, man.
Do it.
Just pick it up.
Just pick it up.
Just pick it up. Pay $5 for the digital, a couple bucks for the CDs, a little bit more for the vinyls because they're even more wild to produce and create. And I love how vinyls just get passed around like dirty rags, like old vinyls. I love it. I love vinyls when they're just like, come to a used vinyl sale and there's got cracks in the vinyl. The vinyl's been thrown. Who knows how many parties that vinyl's been spun at? You know what I mean? I love that feel about some of the vinyls that you find. Like, how many people have played this at different parties or different things, you know? I think, to me, when you pick up a vinyl and there's so many marks in it, or as long as it plays okay, you know what I mean?
Yep.
But at the same time, I think there's something cool about the story behind a lot of the hard copy things that you can find. Yeah.
Well.
And that's my ending in a musical light, and bringing light to this album, which is the album of the week. A cool one. Put it on, play it loud, enjoy some tunes, man. And the Tragically Hip, great band too. She blows out the candle and pieces out. Leaves me here to wrap it up. I'm gonna move this closer. I'm gonna put that there. I'm gonna take my time here. I'm in no rush. I'm gonna put like a drumstick like over here. Move that. Can I put this on top? Maybe that'll look cool. Like that. Okay. I'll put the shaker. Does that look alright? Like that? Put that like that. I'm gonna try to do something like that. Put that here. Okay. Okay. Oh, she put her finger. Are you gonna poke me with it? Oh. Nice. Oh. You might as well just stop it. I'll just wave. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just gonna wave. I'm just gonna wave. You stop it.